What's going on, everybody? Mike here from AX Garage. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back here at Acura Pembroke Pines with our 2023 Acura Integra A-Spec. Now in the last episode, we put on a tons of accessory. In today's episode, we have some upgrade wheels and tires along with this Eibach spring. Now John's gonna tell you guys a little bit more about it right now.
All right, so we have our Eibach Sportline Springs. Now these are for a 21 Civic Si sedan. We looked it up and the part numbers are very close for this car in regards to the Civic Si, the 2022 Civic Si 11th gen. They are the same exact part numbers. We compared it when it comes to the springs. And they're telling us that people with the new SIs are running the FK7 and SI sedan springs. That's what we have here. We're gonna give it a shot here. Hopefully it drops the car evenly, but nothing is out for the car yet, so we're kind of taking a shot in the dark. But as you can see here, they are the part numbers for that car in particular. And this being the Sportline kit, it is a 1.7 in the front and 1.8 in the rear. They also have a Pro kit. That one's just about a 1-inch drop. And we wanted to go a little bit lower than that. We got 19s going on, these are 18s, so we figured the 2-inch drop should probably work pretty good. And if I wanted to go 18s later, maybe that'll work as well. Hopefully these work out good for us. We know the installation is gonna go fine, we just don't know how the car is gonna sit. This car does have an adaptive suspension system with different modes and different stiffnesses and rebounds. So we'll see how it works. All right, so here we have the springs. We get to take a look at them. These are the fronts, and you can see it's a progressive spring. It's not linear. That means it changes in diameter. That changes the way it performs. This also has insulators in case the spring comes back down and contacts itself. You're not gonna get a metal clacking, or it's not gonna wear out the finish on the powder coat and cause it to rust. These are your rear springs, as you can see. These ones are a little bit more linear. I think it's more of a hybrid where it has a progressive and linear setup. So they're pretty simple. The fronts just sit in the rear lower control arm. So we're gonna have to lower the control arm, swap the spring out. The front is a little bit more complicated. It's a McPherson strut setup. So we have to compress the factory spring, remove the spring from the strut, then install this spring in, compress it, put it back together, then put it in the car. So first thing we gotta do is get the car up in the air and get the wheels off and start breaking this thing down. All right, so what we have here is we have our suspension, and we were taking a look at it, and you can see here that it is a Honda strut that's made with Showa, and they're pretty, old school racing company out of Japan. They've done work with Nissan, a whole bunch of different companies, Honda as well. They're the manufacturer of the strut. So this is a active suspension strut. This is the actual motor that moves the valving inside the strut. So we're gonna need to unplug this. We're gonna remove this bracket here and our sway bar end link. Then we're gonna take this bolt loose here. We're gonna slide the entire suspension down, remove the strut from here, take it out at the top, then we'll go to our spring compressor and swap the spring out. Yes. All right, so we have our wall-mounted spring compressor here. This is awesome for a shop like us where we do a lot of volume. This thing is super stable and it's mounted to the wall. This is not like a spring compressor that you use like a gun on in order to tighten, and they're mobile. This thing, I feel confident every time I put a strut in it, making sure that the spring's not gonna shoot out and hit me in my face. So it's adjustable in a few different ways here at the bottom so that we can get everything lined up. And we use the crank at the top to tighten it. Mike's gonna bring the strut. Alrighty. We'll get it set up in here. So this is the bump stop. This is what prevents the strut from bottoming out completely when you hit a big bump. Since the car is lowered, they recommend cutting this off at the first notch here. So we're just gonna use a razor blade and cut right through. Just a little trim.
But there you have it, guys. First Integra with lowering spring.
We just gotta put the thing back in the car and make sure it actually works.
That's a good point.
All right, so we got everything mounted up on the strut. Now we're just gonna go ahead and install it in the car. All right, so the front's all done. We're on to the back. It's a pretty simple setup down here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna remove this bolt here. We're gonna take the sway bar bolt out. Then we're gonna loosen our toe adjustment here. And then we'll use our one-man jack to go ahead and swing this arm down and swap the spring out.
I call this John.
I actually, in the shop, we call it Mike Chan because it just stands around and does nothing all day.
Oh, really? I call it first, so.
Yeah, maybe. I don't stand around, do nothing. All right, so we got the car lowered. We have it on the stock wheels right now. Mike's gonna go take it for a spin and make sure that, you know, nothing rubs and everything works right, because this right now is the first lowered Integra that we know of, and she's pretty low.
All right, so we got the suspension installed. Everything is good. Road test really good. No noise whatsoever. And obviously we're over here by the wheel and tire machine.
Oh yeah, we're ready for my favorite part on here, the wheels.
What is going on? I got 4 wheels and 3 tires, dude.
So as you see here, we have our 19-inch MDC Mugen wheels. They are 19 by 8.5 with a plus 45 offset. You may remember them from another car we had. We brought it to Eibach. It was our ILX A-Spec, white with the lip kit on it. These are the same wheels from that. We've had them sitting for about 3 years now. And when the Integra came out, I hit up Mike and I was like, these wheels would be perfect for the car. And he's like, get them out. So they were pretty dirty. So this one's still pretty dirty because my wheel cleaning assistant, he did a half-ass job, but he's gonna get a lot better at it. That was David, left-hand drive David. He's good.
Afternoon, fellas. Welcome to the AHC Garage channel, and I hope you enjoy the show.
But nevertheless, we have the wheels here. We have the tires, which are a Continental ExtremeContact Sports and a 245/35 19, and as you can see, there's only 3 because Tire Rack or UPS or somewhere along the line, only 3 showed up today. So we're going to go ahead and put our OEM PMS sensors in here and mount up these 3 wheels, and hopefully tomorrow when the other wheel comes in, we can get it mounted on the car. So let's go ahead and get these things put on. How we can help.
All right, so we got the wheels and tires nice and mounted and mixed up. John, ready or what?
We're gonna put it on the car finally. The other tires showed up today, so I was able to finish mounting and balancing them. Now let's see how they fit the car. I mean, they got to fit one way or another.
I think it'll look pretty good.
Oh, I think it's gonna look nice.
Especially with that nice drop you got there.
I would have to say the car is what's considered dumped. Yeah, it's on the ground.
Well guys, there you have it. MDC Mugen wheels on a 23 Integra Eibach Lowering Spring. It's looking proper.
I think it's looking nice, man. And we have no adjustments done to camber or anything. This is the natural camber with just the lowering springs in it. Our front, being a McPherson, wasn't gonna camber too much. The rear on the stocks cambered a lot. We actually have a bit of room here, so it's not too aggressive. This is a 45 offset. The fitment is on point, and we'll be able to drive this thing as hard as we want without any issues. Now, we also do have another set of wheels that we're gonna be mounting up, and they are the same overall size, but with a different offset and a little bit bigger tire. Hopefully this space that we have here will give us enough. If it doesn't, camber kit for the rear, and there's a modification we can do the front to get the camber to fit. Overall, man, it's beautiful. I can't complain at all.
Looking super sweet. Now before we can install the second set of wheels and tire,
Yeah,
let's go get an alignment rack and get the alignment done.
let's get it lined up. All right, so we got it on the rack. We're gonna get it set up real quick, adjust our toes into spec, and then we're gonna go drive this thing, see how it handles. All right, so we got it in here. We're using specs from a 22 Civic Si because the 23 is the future, and it's not on here yet, but this is gonna work just fine for us. You can see our front's not gonna go out too far because of the McPherson strut setup, but our rear camber is pretty aggressive here. So I think we're gonna see if we can reach out to some of our friends over at Hard Race and see if they have a product that'll work on this car already, or we're gonna work with them to try and develop a new one specific to the car. But now we just have to really just adjust a few little things and she's good to go. All right, so the alignment's all done. We'll get this thing off the lift and we'll go take her for a spin.
All right, here we go, guys. First test drive with this 23 Integra Lowering Eibach Spring and some Mugen MDC wheels, 19" by 8.5. What do you say, John?
I say the look is beautiful. So far, the driving looks good. Although you're the one driving, so I'm gonna have to take your word for it. I don't know if I can trust your opinion.
Well, you're riding the car. I mean, you drive this car a lot more than me. You already put about 745 miles on this car here.
Yes, sir.
This is probably my third time driving this car. It rides really good, man.
I tell you what, for being lowered, it drives like it did at stock height.
I mean, especially this car for ADS, that's what helps, you know?
Yeah.
Right now, we're at normal mode, so I'm gonna switch it up a bit, because it's super comfortable. We're going through bumps, absorbing like no tomorrow, so I'm gonna switch to sport right now.
I believe you're going to feel it now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely stiffer, for sure. I know that guy. His name is Harold.
Yeah, well, he broke his neck.
Dude, this car is so fun. I'm going to turn it back to sport real quick. Dude, I cannot wait when we put all the PRL stuff on it.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be nice.
Dude, that'd be so nice. All right, we'll hit some corner here and see how we behave. Pretty good. One thing I do notice is no body roll.
No body roll.
Yeah, when the car is stock, like you really feel the car kind of that unstable after the turn.
Yeah.
Man, I love ADS.
ADS is definitely a nice touch for this. It really changes the entire feel of the car.
You know, I'm hoping in the future, if any coilover company, they can make coilover for this car here, just like the Civic Type R FKA, if they can make their coilover strut with ADS.
Yeah, that means something has to. It'd be nice to keep that adjustability. If
You know-
not, they need at least something that'll eliminate the light from coming on.
You know, RSR makes ADS coilover for Lexus.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So it is possible, but again, it's pricey, but you're not compromising anything at all.
Oh, yeah.
Have the adjustability and also have all the factory features.
That's what I like.
All right, so we just came back from a test drive and wow, what we got here? We got another set of wheels. I think this is the first time that we build a car that have two sets of wheels.
Well, this is my car, and obviously I'm a self-confessed wheel whore of a person here who cannot stop buying wheels and multiple wheels for
With
my
the
cars.
exception, you didn't pay for any of these wheels here. I did, so
Well, you know,
you're welcome, John.
I have not paid for wheels. I have paid for tires. 8 tires, I should say, and a bunch of TPMS sensors.
So, well, let's jump right into it. So, Vossen HF-5, 19 by 8.5. What offset it is?
They are plus 32.
Ooh, a little aggressive, like you mentioned earlier.
A little bit aggressive. I think we have enough negative camber in the rear to deal with it. The front, we might run into an issue with it, but we do have an option on the car where we can add a little bit more camber. So let's go ahead and get them mounted up and see how our fitment is.
But to be honest, adding camber is not our thing, though.
Our camber is only at, I think, negative 0.6 in the front. So the car can only add maybe a couple tenths of a degree. So it's not a lot of negative camber.
So now you got a set of tires here, and this is the first time that we are not putting brand new tires, but these are really good condition tires.
Yeah, they're pretty decent used BF Goodrich G4 Sport Comp 2s, and they're a 255/35/19.
So from a 245, now we go with a 255.
Yeah, a little bit wider. So we're going a little bit wider, and we have a more aggressive offset, because those were 45 offsets. So we're gonna have to see how it works. I'm pretty happy. I am cheap. Mike makes it clear to me how cheap I am. He lets me know all the time. So that's why I bought a brand new set, and now I have these.
Thank you.
I acknowledge you. My buddy Danny, he hooked me up with these. Thank you, Danny. You're a good guy.
And for a lot of you folks out there, always run into issues when you come to aftermarket wheels, stop buying aftermarket TPMS sensor. Buy the OEM factory one. They're not super expensive. What are these, like $25 a piece?
Something like that. I mean, they're pretty cheap. They're $25 at regular retail. and they're usually always in stock. And right now, all of our cars are taking the same TPMS sensor. And the other thing is now that we're utilizing a rubber valve stem, these are not replaceable. Like not say replaceable, not swappable, because these are not designed to come back out of the rim without damage. So that's why they reduced the price on them, because before you could just take a TPMS sensor, unscrew it, put it into the other one. Now that they have a rubber valve stem, much like the other, I should say the American companies run those. So now this is what we have. It's cheap. You don't even need to program it. You just put it in the car and drive. It's awesome.
The program itself, stop buying the aftermarket junk.
Yes.
HF-5, can we open the box and let's take a look at what they look like?
Oh, look at that.
Gloss black finish you pick, huh?
Yeah, you know, may not work for everyone, but I thought it kind of went with the gloss black accents on the car with our side skirts, our rear diffuser, and the other parts of the car.
I personally love the design of these wide spoke wheels.
Yeah, it's the wide spoke is very nice. They have extra details in here where you can see. And this is, which series wheel is this, Mike?
HF-5.
I know, but their series,
Hybrid
it's
Forge.
the Hybrid Forge series, yeah. So these ones are a bit more affordable, but they are a forged wheel, and they come in multiple offsets and sizes, widths, everything like that. There's a lot of different options on this. And this is a high quality wheel. We have not run into any issues at all with fit and finish and durability with these wheels. Very good wheels.
Same wheel we ran on our Acura A-Spec, and
That's right.
I think I love the way it looks.
Oh yeah, and they ride nice and smooth. Well, we'll see how mine ride with the old tires. Hopefully good.
All right, so the wheels and tires all mounted up, and next up, I think we're ready to swap the wheels. It's one of the quickest episodes. We just put those on.
We drove them around the block and that's it. I mean, what's going on here?
Vossen lug nuts.
Vossen
all
lug
the good
nuts.
stuff.
Beautiful lug nuts. I really like the design on them. They are lightweight, strong material, and they're two-piece construction with a movable seat. This really, as we've mentioned it before on some of the Project Kicks lug nuts. It really saves the finish on the inside and also makes sure that the wheel tightens properly. And you can see it's laser engraved Vossen here, a V on the side, and the actual thread pitch of the lug nut. So let's go ahead, get these boys off, and put the Vossens on.
All right, so we got the car back on the ground. Man, these wheels and tires is definitely very, very aggressive for this car.
Yeah, much more aggressive than our 245s on the 8.5 plus 45. This is an 8.5 plus 32 with the 255. Those were the tires I could get. We're gonna have to see about getting another set of tires. We're gonna work on getting them, see what I can find, see what we can do, and then we might be able to make it work. The back fit's fine. It's actually perfect. We have no issues there. The front is where we're running into some issues. I modified the little bolt at the top here, allow it to pull in some camber. It is pretty much dead flush. You hit a bump, this fender's gone. And I think maybe with a 235 tire, we would probably have awesome clearance. If you want to take a look at the other side, you'll see what it looks like without modifying the camber on the car. And it's out pretty far. So that definitely is not going to work for the situation.
I tell you what, we one of the first and try and error, and this is one of them.
This is the way it goes sometimes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to throw the Mugens back on and ride out till I can see about getting another set of tires, and then we'll have to go ahead and give this another shot.
All right, guys, there you guys have it. We put back the Mugen, the 19 by 8.5 wheels. We're gonna have to come up with a solution with the Vossen.
Yeah, I think the offset will work with a less aggressive tire. I think we were talking about it being a 32 offset. We're probably gonna have to go with the 235 over the 255. And even the 245 probably won't work so good because we need to make sure our fenders live. But after we get that dealt with, the fun begins, right, Mike?
On the next episode, we'll be installing a complete performance package from PRL. You guys definitely do not want to miss it. Have a subscribe to the channel. Make sure to go down there, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notification. And this is for this video. I got John right there. I got myself, Mike. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week.